Hello and welcome to Gaia GPS. I am Mimi. I'm here with Nicole Oman.
Surprise!
And we are diving in to a changey astro week. Tomorrow we actually have Jupiter moving into Scorpio. So tomorrow is Tuesday, October 10th. I guess I'm getting excited about it, calling it today. To be fair, it's within today's 24 hours, so it's close. But Jupiter in Scorpio, this is going to be a major transit. If you can think back to what was going on in your life around 2005, 2006, you may be able to tune into some of the vibration that Jupiter in Scorpio can bring into your life. Now, I'm going to go deeper into Jupiter in Scorpio in my horoscope, but just to break it down, Jupiter is a planet of expansion. Jupiter is a teacher planet. So Jupiter wants us to expand our mind. It wants to expand in possibilities. Jupiter has a reputation for being a positive, optimistic, benevolent planet. But I will tell you that Jupiter will expand the energy of anything it encounters. And that's where it gets interesting with Scorpio, because Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. And therefore, Scorpio has some really intense, powerful energies. And to break down Scorpio to its very basic is Scorpio can bring the lightest light, but Scorpio can also bring us into the deepest, darkest depths. So remember that with Jupiter moving into Scorpio and bringing this expansive energy. Now, the thing that I hope that we will all as a world, as a universe, as a collective energy tap into is ultimately the empowerment energy of Scorpio. Scorpio at its highest and best is about empowerment. But often on our way to empowerment, we go through fear. We go through some of those deep, dark valleys. So there may be some of those energies that we have to face and become empowered through this journey. And that to me is the cards that I have for this. And I'm going to start with two of my Osho cards. I have suppression in reverse. And what is more suppressing than fear? I'm not sure that there are too many things in the world that suppress us more than fear, like the what could be's or what have already happened and the fear that comes around that. So we are releasing our suppression. And look at this card with it, the understanding. We are releasing ourselves from these chains, from these bars that have held us back. Now, it's really interesting because these cards are fire and water. And I really do think, that's the combination of Jupiter and Scorpio. There is a fire and water energy to it. So there may be some steamy lessons coming up for us. They may be fiery emotions, anger, emotions from our root chakra definitely will be surfacing during this time. And then we may have to cry our way through them, feel our way through them, emote our way through them. But ultimately, this is part of the manifestation empowerment process. So from angel therapy, I have manifestation power. Use your spiritual gifts and natural abilities to attract your desired outcome. Empowerment is the highest level that we can achieve with Scorpio energy. And it's going to come through us tuning in to those root chakra energies, getting really clear on our survival, looking at our fears and where they've come from and come through, and see where we can expand. I also have more water cards. Speaking of water energies, I have the healing card. This is the King of Cups. King of Cups knows how to maneuver the emotions. And the projections card. Projections card, this could be some of the fears that others have projected on us. And it could also be some illusionary fears that we are still carrying on to. We won't be in our full manifestation power. We won't be in our full root chakra power while we're still carrying those projections. And so that'll give us an opportunity to know where this healing is at. To finish up, I have the ordinariness card. This is a card of gifts. This is a card of gifts coming through ordinary times, through hard work. So I do think that Jupiter in Scorpio is going to be a time of work. If I look back, I was deep in my spiritual process. I was deep in, facing my fears that I had taken on from Christianity and being like, wait, there's so much more for me here. I had already learned Reiki. I had already, learned a lot of astrology. I was into animal medicine, and yet I was still surrounded by these people like, oh, that's going to send you to hell. And I had to face that and be like, but this deeper drive within me, this deeper love within me is calling me. So you may have those moments where you have to face that fear in order to conquer, in order to get onto that path that is true to you. To finish up, I'm using new deck. I'm going to be using this during Scorpio time, but I decided to start using it today, the Sacred Power reading cards. And for Jupiter and Scorpio, I pulled the Sound card. And this card talks about, music and sounds, but what I'm really getting from this, first and foremost, is be very aware of the power that your words have through this transit. Be very aware of what you are speaking into existence at this time. And I'm not saying hold back, like I'm afraid of this or I'm afraid of that. Get those things out. Like, it's important to get those energies out. But be careful that you don't end up dwelling in and through these areas. The other thing that it talks about is music. Be very aware of the sounds that are coming around that, empower you or not. I like to listen, especially when I'm going through tough times, to music that I know is going to empower me. Be very aware of the energy of what you are listening to. And is it yum or yuck? Is it raising you up? Is it empowering you, or is it not? Because this will be a part of you getting empowered, rooted, grounded through this energy. Nicole?
It's funny, when you said when it was, I was like, I think this was at a specific time in my life that something really big happened for me. I had my enlightenment experience at 8 degrees Scorpio. I had to look it up. I was like, I think I had my enlightenment experience in Jupiter and Scorpio. And it was 8 degrees Jupiter and Scorpio. I'm like, oh yeah, I just popped through that. And I had to go through the fear. The funny thing is, when I was having it, I was in control mode. And my control mode happens with fear. I was afraid of a lot of different things. I was afraid of safety. That was the big thing, right? So I had a lot of insecurity going up, but not just insecurity in that way, but I just needed to feel extremely, extremely safe. And because I was able to get to that safety, I was able to connect to my inner child in a way that I had never connected to before. And I became one with my inner child again. And just, I said this on my weekly guidance, to enter the kingdom of heaven, we must be as a child. We must be as a child. We have to revert back to that sense of innocence, not a sense of ignorance, but a sense of innocence and a sense of wonder. And I got to a place of joy, and I popped through, and it was in Scorpio. So there is, you really can pop through the veil at this point, but we want to go through joy, not necessarily through, you can go through your darkness. I think Eckhart Tolle got through it through his darkness, but that takes a very interesting energy. So, so the cards that I'm getting for Jupiter and Scorpio very much coincide with Mimi, even though they're different cards. I'm getting the same thing. I'm getting the same energy, which I think is really interesting. The first card that I have, and I love this about Scorpio energy, it's death, rebirth, and I have the rebirth card. This is a time to get yourself out of this deep depression. It's a good time to get yourself out of this really low vibrational energy. Find that courage, like she talked about, that fire energy to get there, but really keep going. Get to that innocence. There is an opportunity in this Scorpio energy for massive rebirth, for massive breakthroughs, and for massive liberation. And so even though, because I have a Scorpio moon, and I've dealt with a lot of harsh Scorpio energy in my life. Every woman that has ever taught me the biggest lesson has been a Scorpio woman. And I know the Scorpio venom really, really intimately. We'll just say that. And I've had to find my power within that, because I could have made that a victim energy. And so I'm getting some of that. So feeling victim in our life, feeling wanting to isolate because of the things, but this isn't the time to do that. I love the isolation card because it's exactly what Mimi said. The isolation card heals through crying, right? So these rainbow tears, the rainbow dragon, the rainbow tears are melting away this isolation, melting away the fear, melting away that lack of trust of other people because we've been stung before. So I think this is a really excellent opportunity to start trusting other people, because I think another thing that I'm really getting from this energy in the present position, I'm getting the politics card in reverse. So if you're watching a lot of news and you're watching a lot of things around politics, you can get yourself into a victim type of relationship to the world. You don't want to interact because you think everybody is crazy. In a certain fact, it kind of feels like that. But we don't want to do that because that can really, really, really stress you out this year. Because you're going to see a lot of things happening in politics that you might not agree with. But hold true, hold true. Just because there's some crazy stuff going on in the world does not mean that everybody is crazy. It brings me to this song by Incubus, actually. It's called The Warmth. And what's the lyrics? Not everyone is that fucked up and cold. Sorry, excuse my language. Experience the warmth before you go, right? So we have to remember, we have to experience this warmth of each other and not lose the trust and faith of humanity, of humankind, and that there are beautiful people. There are beautiful people who love and care about you, and really, I mean, that are in their hearts. We like me and Mimi are these little love vibrations, and there are people that are true in their integrity with their love, okay? And that you are not the only one that is alone in this. And I think through that, so I have some past life energy coming up. I think through that, we have some maturity happening. And it is up to you to find your own maturity. That's where that Mimi empowerment, she was talking about it, that's where the empowerment is within you. And as you begin to find your own empowerment, guess what you're going to become? La little light, this little light of mine. You know, you become the warmth. You become the love, and you become sharing it. And within that, I think that this is going to be a year of light workers manifesting. Light workers finding milk and honey. Light workers begin their businesses, make money doing what they love to do, make money with their purpose, because this is a card of support with this. So if you are becoming empowered, I think you're going to become you're going to get extra support with this, right? So that's what, but you have to tell your truth. There's the truth be told. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to show your truth. You have to live your truth. You have to take action in your truth. And if you are able to do that, like Mimi said, you will begin to manifest. You will begin to manifest in your empowerment. And that will also bring, because there's not a lack of people needing help. We all can do it together. There's not a lack of people that need support. Trust me. So as we do that, and also I get on the other side of the milk and honey card that some of you that aren't ready to speak your truth, there's going to be more and more people that are willing to spend money on the healing work. Because I think there's going to be a shift that happens of like, instead of working on our physical appearance, we might actually start working on what really matters, and that's our inner work. Our inner work. You can give yourself as many manicures as you want. It's still not going to heal that condition and those daddy issues and those mommy issues and those betrayal issues and those abandonment issues. It's just not. You can work on your physical self as much as possible, but it's the inner work that does the work, that does the lasting healing.
Great. You know, going back to your Incubus lyrics and the warmth, the message that came through with the full moon last week was, there is enough love in the world for you. And I think that is often behind a lot of our fear, whether it's a fear of lack of money, or it's a fear of like lack of partnership, or fear of lack of lands. All of those things come up as love for us, and that's connected to that warmth. There's enough love in the world for you. Like, there's so much, and what each of us just need to do is work on the barriers that we have constricted against us, and those barriers are our own personal fears, and those places where we're not ready to exude the love and where we're not ready to accept the love. So yay, Jupiter and Scorpio. Lessons abound. This is going to be an adventure. I have to say, I've been pulling for myself when it comes to some really tough things I'm going through. The adventure card. It's like, this is an adventure. You going through this. This is an adventure. Keep that optimistic spirit, Sagittarius. This is an adventure. You live for this. You love for this. And it's true, I do.
I want to read some of the lyrics of this.
Okay.
I think it's really important. Okay, so it's not a breeze because it blows hard. Yes, it wants me to discard the humanity I know. Watch the warmth blow away. Do you think I should adhere to the pressure of the new frontier and leave in my wake a trail of fear? Or should I hold my head up high and throw a wrench in the spokes by leaving the air behind me clear? So you can either be in fear here and travel with a wake of fear, or clear it within yourself and leave it clear. What are you going to do? Like, are you going to clean this and clear this on your house so that don't let the world bring you down? Not everyone here is that fucked up and cold. Remember why you came, and while you're alive, experience the warmth before you grow old. So I just went to an Incubus concert. So I love those, but there's something in that. And when he was singing that, you could hear everybody singing this from their heart, because it was a stadium full of people singing, we are not effed up and we still have this spark of humanity alive within us. We just got to connect with each other, and we have to own it, and we have to share it. Because really what we're seeing in the world is not the entire planet. And I want you to look up those words and just really listen to those words, because to be honest with you, humanity is not that effed up.
What's the name of the song?
The Warmth.
Warmth is the name. I love that. Awesome. Yes, go look up those lyrics and like sing it and remember this. We all have to remember this love that's flowing within us, and that it is enough. You know, in these times, I posted that on Facebook, that in these times it feels like we're not doing enough and this work isn't enough. I'm telling you, it is, and it's the best number one thing that you can do is keep seeking out these places within you and keep bringing more love to yourself, because the more you love yourself, this does happen. It's not just saying it. The more you love yourself, this love bubbles over. Nikki and I have been deep in the process over these years and years and years. It is not an overnight process, but it happens, and you overflow, and you have it to share and help and change, and it happens. It is empowering, and it happens. Like, believe it, live it.
I want to sing. I keep wanting to sing that song. I'm like, yeah.
I don't know, or else I'd sing it with you. I probably do know it because I love Incubus, but off the top of my head,
you probably will. You just got to listen to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep moving, because I have to pick up my daughter in like less than, I got to leave in a half an hour. So
yeah. Okay, so moon into Cancer. So the moon is shifting into Cancer on Tuesday evening. So this is like a sudden influx of water energy, emotions. And what do I have here? I have some water. It is time to go with the flow. Oh, Nikki has it too. There we go. Matching cards. It is time to go with the flow. And I'm actually going to dive into my Sacred Power card, which is Divine Consciousness. And what I really liked in this card is what it says. You're encouraged to meditate, to remove yourself from earthly dramas, gossip, the physical issues. Be gentle with yourself. Eat nutritious food, drink enough water, get plenty of rest. By connecting to a state of consciousness higher than our mind's physical awareness, we eliminate the impurities and toxicity that's coming up. And that's what I'm overall getting from this. Go into your personal flow, connect to your consciousness, connect to what your needs are to nurture yourself through this time. If you are feeling the stress, then you might be feeling other people's things. Emotions are going to be coming to the surface with this, because we're going to have now Jupiter moving through Scorpio. That's going to be enhancing emotions. That may be enhancing emotions from the depths. We've got Neptune and Chiron working retrograde in Pisces. That's bringing up old stuff. That's bringing up past life stuff, you know, possibly. And then we have the moon in Cancer, which just brings on the emotions. It is a lot, which is why it is required for you to nurture yourself. But you know, the good thing is this is just part of the process. This is part of the growing, developing, maturity, ripening process that's bringing us to where it is that we want to go in our physical journey on this path. Our physical journey on this path. It's taking us where it is we want to go. So we need to go through whatever these emotions are, but we don't need to take on everybody else's stuff. There's going to be emotions. You're going to feel it, but you don't have to feel what's not yours. You don't have to process what's not yours. The final card that I have for this is the Law of Attraction card, and it says, relationships and activities you once enjoyed are now changing as you become more sensitive and aware of the energy. So it's just reiterating the point that this is going to be a sensitive couple days with that moon in Scorpio, moon in Cancer. And I think the sensitivity is going to continue through Jupiter and Scorpio. The sensitivity is going to be around for like a good year, a good 13 months to be fair. So, but this is the time. It's like the universe is like throwing you in the deep end. Don't worry, you know how to swim. Like you got this, but you got this because you're not carrying everybody else's luggage and baggage with you in the deep end. Like, no, you don't swim with that. You can't float with that. You have to let that stuff go so that you can keep moving on your own personal journey. Take care of yourself. Put your air mask on first in the airplane. It's important. Nikki?
Well, and I'm going to say this with my cards. I'm going to tell you that also in this time period tomorrow, Venus is opposing Chiron. Yeah. And so as Venus opposes Chiron, because I have some interesting things around relationships. Yeah. So let's go into what I have so you can kind of understand, so you can hold on and not feel as though like everything is falling apart, because it is falling apart, but it's falling back together as well. And so I want you to know that if things are changing for you in relationships, that it's not necessarily a bad thing. Some things have to break up or at least have space or something of this nature, so there can be a transformation that happens. So again, I do have to go with the flow card as well. And I feel like there's these tidal waves of emotion happening. I think that there's a flushing out, if you will, of emotion. And as things flush out, because we also have that, Jupiter and Scorpio, which can be kind of fiery, like Mimi said, that anger can arise. So there might be somebody in the relationship either dealing with massive amounts of depression or massive amounts of anger. And I just keep seeing these floodgates happening. And it feels like that you might have been in a relationship or be in a relationship, whether this is a love relationship or a friendship, that you've been in this relationship for a very long time, but it's coming to a place where it's not working like it used to work, and it needs to be transformed. In the present position, I have the Lovers card, and I have the Transformation card on top of it. So there's like these massive, and these are little ones. With Scorpio, Jupiter and Scorpio, this isn't a little this is like floodgate, and a massive transformation in your relationships are going to be happening. And so through this, I have underneath everything, I have the past life card. So this is like clearing out a past life karma. This is clearing out it might even be like you might end a relationship contract. You might end a relationship contract. Or it can begin again. Rebirth, remember, like we talked about? So it might be a rebirth in the relationship, or it might be an end of the relationship. That's okay, because I have the time to go card in reverse. And this is talking of let go of anything that doesn't serve you anymore and be honest with that. And yes, you might go through that and everything might feel like everything's crumbling around you. Don't worry about it. This is actually, don't worry about it. Yeah, right. Like when we're going through a breakup, yeah, no big deal. Don't worry about it. But know that it's for your highest and greatest good, and highest and greatest good for everyone's collective evolution, your evolution, their evolution. And you never know what's going to happen. Me and my husband have broken up 3 times before we got engaged. We had so much of this that we had to let the old relationship paradigm completely die before we could reconnect in a way that works for us. And me and him, in our 7 years of marriage at this point, have had so many Phoenix moments where we thought, oh shit, we're not going to get through this one. And then sure enough, we did. So it doesn't need to be the worst thing your mind can imagine here, but there is a transformation, and you are reintegrating something back into your life, reintegrating what your idea of love is back into your heart, back into your body. Because I think you're going to be manifesting love in a different way. Don't worry, you'll get a leg up. I have the leg up card. People are going to help you. You're going to get help with this, whether you might even get like marriage counseling or something of this nature to help you, but you will have some sort of physical human support that will help you through these upgrades. I keep getting it's an upgrade of identity of what you feel like relationships are. Like if you're still stuck in like a fairy tale type of thing, then that needs to upgrade and realize like there's work involved and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it is exactly, but you're getting an upgrade.
Woo. All right, Moon in Cancer. So we shift from Moon in Cancer into the Moon in Leo. That's late Thursday, early Friday, depending on where you're living. And very interestingly, I have a very Scorpio card from the Sacred Power reading cards. I have the Phoenix card, Rebirth. Here it comes. Now, the Moon in Leo brings up our creativity. It brings up inner child energy. But Leo and Scorpio do square each other. So with the Moon entering Scorpio and Jupiter entering, or Moon entering Leo and Jupiter entering Scorpio, there are going to be some clashes, some squares that happen. I was reading what it says in this card, and I'm like, holy crap. Right now, the Phoenix has returned to remind you to leave the baggage behind. So there's that message again. Leave that baggage behind in order for you to go into your ripening. Here I have the ripening card again. Let go of your past and move forward. Use any negative experiences as motivation towards future goals and achievements. Get creative with these energies. Get fiery with these energies. With that Moon in Leo and Jupiter and Scorpio, the fire energies are going to be up and intense. And again, just funny enough, takes us all back into this. I have the base chakra card from Angel Therapy and says, use positive thoughts to describe your home, career, finance as your words determine your outcome. That connects us back to that sound card. Be very vigilant about what you are creating with this Moon in Leo energy. It is spurring some creative fires. Now, I usually associate Leo energy with solar plexus and heart, but you still may be working, not still, you're going to be working base chakra energy for this next year with Jupiter and Scorpio. So before you get really deep into the heart and into the solar plexus, get into your root chakra. Do you feel safe? Do you feel like you belong on this planet? Do you feel like you have a purpose on this planet? And if you have any no's to any of those things around the root chakra, this is a time to recreate, repurpose, get in there, find that fire, find that passion to begin to help drive you into your ripening. I have the suppression card in reverse. Again, it's like we are throwing off these ties that have bound us. But this is going to take some deep creative fire. It's going to take you stepping into your personal mastery, which is self-responsibility. It's noticing, are you taking care of your inner child? Is your inner child allowed to be part of your creative process? So many people are like, I don't really know what to do with my life. I don't really know what my purpose is. And the people who do that aren't connected to their inner child. They're not connected to that desire. They're not connected to the fire. So this is an opportunity to reconnect to that, and that will help reconnect you to your inner master. The final card that I have is the moment-to-moment card. So this, I do feel like this might be the case with this Moon in Leo, where it's like, yeah, I'm happy one moment, and the next moment you're like, ah! Kind of like a child can feel, you know, through the day. When you get into those moments, offer yourself love, and when you get into those happy moments, take those, ride those, and use those to propel you forward into your next fruiting, your next ripening energy. And I just see that Nikki, oh, she's back, disappeared. She's back, so it's your turn.
Well, yeah, I just had to make sure because Ryan has to leave, and then I have to go pick up Kali, so I just need to make sure with them real quick. So I might have to leave after this, or maybe after the next one, but I'll try to make it quick. So with this Leo energy that's happening, I'm seeing another thing around relationships. So here's another part of the message with that. So I have all this interesting information. I have the experiencing card, this connecting to your own nature. I have the rightness card like Mimi had, and I also have the healing card. And all of these cards are in reverse. And I was like, huh. So I picked the underneath card, and I was like, well, why is this all in reverse? And I have the dream card. And if you read the dream card in the Osho deck, it says, this is a card that somebody's like looking at the fantasy and getting caught up in fantasy. Fantasy around relationship, fantasy of what they think. It's back to this fantasy around relationships. So I picked these two cards. And I think these are really interesting. This is the not for you card in reverse. So I'm just going to read it. Don't chase after what flees from you. Don't obsess over what eludes you. Don't bang your head against the wall. There's nothing romantic about what is unavailable. No prize is given for torturing yourself, and nothing can be gained by refusing to see the red flags that have been waving at you since the beginning of your pursuit. Now is a time to walk away. There are other goals, love, lovers, other games, other successes waiting for you. The way out of obsessing is radical acceptance and surrender. Spirit only wants the best for you. This is a sign that you have something much better waiting for you. Trust, 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 trust. So it's getting out of that kind of fantasy of, this card is giving me that like unrequited love energy. And we've all been in unrequited love. All of us have been in unrequited love. And it's very powerful, but it's also very distracting. Because what we fall in love with is the unseen potential of what could have been. And when we have that potential, it's so hard to grieve potential, right? And sometimes we have to just grieve the potential and let it be what it is and just let it go. Because at the end of the day, here's a serendipity card, and I will actually read the relationship message for this one, because I do feel this has a lot to do with relationships. Spirit has a plan, and that plan is to place you in front of the right person at the right time. You have not met, or you're about to meet someone who is vitally important to your journey. Someone Spirit wants to bring into your life. Only divine forces can plan this meeting. It is out of your hands. Pay attention to the sign that Spirit presents. So what I think is interesting is maybe we have to let go of one thing to get this new thing, to get an upgrade in relationship and in personal, or in that personal connection. Because these were very, very strong. And after I was like, what is this? We have to let go of one thing that we thought we wanted to get something that is true, to get something that is real, and something that really can help us heal in our life. And I think that's the big thing in this energy. It's funny this week. A lot of you guys are going through a relationship stuff, but we're still in Libra, so I'm not completely surprised.
Yeah. Libra, and speaking of Libra, here comes more Libra. So the final aspect we're going to talk about this week, and I'm going to go through fast so we can get Nikki's input since she's getting a lot of relationship stuff, is Venus moving into Libra. So Venus rules Libra. Yeah.
Maybe I pulled those cards early.
Yeah. Well, here it comes. So Venus will move into Libra on Saturday in the morning, it looks like. So I have some interesting cards around this. Interestingly, I was looking at this card right as Nikki brought up the dream card. I have the manifestation card. Here again, more manifestation energy. And right, it says, right now you have the power to manifest your dreams into reality. But I also have the boundaries card with it. And this is the thing. With Venus in Libra, this is going to be expanded, incredible Venus energy. Pleasure, beauty, love abounds. But if it is all outside of yourself, if it's all about the beauty outside of yourself, if it's all about the harmony outside of yourself, if it's all about the love outside of yourself, it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be fulfilling. I learned that in a really long relationship that I was in, where I tried so hard to love this person. And like, Loving somebody who does not love themselves, it's never going to be enough. And they'll never be able to give back to you what you're giving to them. And it goes both ways, you know, like I needed to step up and love myself more and be like, this has to end because I can't keep doing this. But I didn't. I kept trying. The Sagittarius persists. I did not have my boundaries in place. And I love what this boundaries card says. Just that, like, top note is chase your dreams. The opportunities are endless, but it's going to come by you putting those boundaries in place where you're giving away the harmony, where you're giving away the love, where you're giving away the beauty and not receiving. Libra is balanced, giving and receiving. And so this is going to be important in order to manifest what it is that you want in your life, whether it's love, whether it's abundance, whatever. Notice where you may have to put in some boundaries, where things are not harmonious for you at this time. But I've got some great cards with this. I got the change card. So there are changes in play. Wheel of Fortune, things that were going down are going up now. So good changes are in play. Healing, emotional healing. King of Cups. This is the second appearance of the King of Cups in my cards today. The yang energies. I've been talking about the yin and the yang energies in my daily horoscopes for Libra. The yang energy within anyone, masculine, feminine, yin, yang, wherever you are on the scale, these energies are being healed, and these energies are assisting us in putting up those boundaries so that we can show up in divine yin energy, the creativity. This is the Empress card. So we've got the King of Cups and the Empress. So it's coming into balance within ourselves to bring about this change, to bring about this love, to bring about this physical manifestation of these things that we want. So it's like things are all happening. It's all happening. Good things are happening. But notice for yourself, are you showing up, first of all, willing to put down those boundaries, willing to say no where you need to say no, so that you can honor, nurture, and tend to your yin energies. This is going to be important at this time. Along with this, with angel therapy, I have emotional sensitivity. Gotten a lot of sensitivity cards this week, and says, honor and respect your deep sensitivity. It's a gift to us all. Honor and respect your yin energy. It's a gift for you. It's important. It's your creative energy. It's an important part of your balance. It's okay that you're sensitive, but you just need to give yourself a little of that yang backup at this time, maybe in the form of boundaries, not holding the balanced space for you at this time. It's okay to say no to the things that need saying no to in your life. Like, a lot of us will not say no, and then we'll dread these things, but it's okay to say no. And that might be one of the best things you can do during the transit of Libra. Nikki?
When you say no to one thing, you unconsciously say yes to something that is better for you, or subconsciously. No is a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's so funny. I see a lot of parents that are like, oh, I don't want to stifle my child's creativity by saying no. I'm like, no. You develop your child's creativity by saying no, because you give them boundaries. If somebody or anybody doesn't have boundaries, then they feel so overwhelmed by everything that it's like, here's your canvas. It's everything. I don't even know where to start. Boundaries is like a canvas, right? So you give them structure. Boundaries are structure. This is where you create from, right? And then we can start. Woohoo! Right? So if you need to create boundaries with people, because if they don't have boundaries, they're going to walk all over you, and then you're going to feel depleted, but you didn't give them the boundary to do that. And so they think that that's okay. So boundaries are a beautiful thing. Give yourself emotional boundaries too. When I remember when I was going through my relationship stuff and I gave myself boundaries, I was like, no, this is not okay. I'm not going to be treated like this anymore. And that's when I broke up with my now husband. And I'm not going to be treated like that anymore. And I was like, now I'm not talking to him ever again. 3 months later, he came back saying, I'm willing to do my inner work. All right, well, I'm giving you a test. Trial period. Let's see if you're really dedicated to that, because I can't be with somebody without doing their inner work. He started doing his inner work. Here we are, 2 children later. So yes, people can change. However, I had to set a hard boundary. And when I did, that's when things developed. But I didn't do it in a form of manipulation or thinking that he was even going to show up. I didn't say he needed to do that. I said the next person I'm with is going to need to do their inner work. I didn't make it about him. I didn't put that pressure that it had to be Ryan. But I didn't say that it couldn't be either. I didn't think it was going to be, but he showed up for me. It's only because I made that boundary with myself, not with him. I made that boundary with myself, and I wasn't going to stop. I wasn't going to, what's the word?
Compromise.
Compromise. Thank you. That's the word. I wasn't going to compromise that anymore. I wasn't going to compromise it. And so I held true to it. But I was like, nope. If I even see that you're not doing your work, I'm out. And you know what I mean? So, I mean, that sounds harsh, but it's not. I had to be harsh with myself because I couldn't let things that weren't okay with me be okay anymore. And that's okay. So that's what I'm getting in these cards. Like, really, honestly, I'm getting that something in your relationship, in the relationship paradigm that you have going on, so whether it's a relationship or whether it's a paradigm, there's something that is exhausting the shit out of you, and that you are going to need to set that boundary, that you're holding on to the past of something that is not working, something that, you know, maybe an old agreement that you guys agreed on many years ago that worked back then, but doesn't work anymore. You have to let go of that and create new agreements. I do get this Fates card, and in this it says, other people are who they are. You can't change them. The challenge is to accept them and not try to make them otherwise to suit you. So if what they're doing isn't suiting you, you can't change them in the way that they're showing up for you, but you can choose to change you. And you can choose to say, you know what, this is not okay with me anymore. And I'm not going to put myself through this anymore, right? Because you can have the unconditional love. Unconditional love is allowing them to be who they are, but that doesn't mean that you need to allow them to walk all over you. Unconditional love means to have that boundary for yourself. Because I had a friend, she was like, oh, I'm going to just wait for him to show up for me. And to be honest with you, I don't know. She was saying that was unconditional love. And I was like, I don't know if that was unconditional love. I don't know but her situation, it's a long story. So her situation is very different. But what she was saying was like, what was that? What's the word for it? Compromising yourself was unconditional love, is basically what she was saying to me. And that really bothered me. I was like, oh, no, that's not it. It's not it. Compromising yourself is not unconditional love. And the way that she was saying it, she was wearing it like a badge of honor. And I was like, self-deprecation is not a badge of honor.
There's compromise that is necessary, and then there's compromise that's like martyrism, and that's what it's kind of feeling like. It's is like a martyr. Like, I love him so much, I'm willing to do this, even though it totally goes against who I am. I had a reading last week where compromise came up. You were compromising yourself, and that's why it doesn't work. You know, people who are meant to be together, I'm not going to say you don't need to compromise, because I'm sure you do compromise with Ryan. You know, that happens. But
that's two different definitions of compromise.
Different energies. Like, it's not compromising your soul essence. It's not. A lot of people, in order to compromise, will dull their light and smush themselves as part of the compromise, rather than, I think, a healthy relationship helps you both rise up and raise up in your best and highest.
Yeah, and compromise, those two words of compromise are two different definitions. Compromising yourself is the smush. Compromise, because we're trying to make this work together, where you're compromising, or you're sacrificing your stubbornness or your need to be right for the relationship to build, right? So that's different. That's different. But there are certain things that can't be compromised. There are certain things that can't be compromised, like cheating on each other and lying about it. Like, that shouldn't be compromised. Or abuse, that shouldn't be compromised. If you're being abused, that shouldn't be compromised, you know? And you have to really take responsibility for where you show up for that abuse. And that's really hard for people to hear when they're in an abusive situation. But you always have the power to get out. Trust me, I know. I lived this as a child. My mom made the decision, and she was in the worst possible position. She had a crushed ankle. She just lost her mom in a car accident, and she decided to leave, and we went to a shelter. There is the abuse paradigm, or the victim paradigm, wants to keep you in that situation because the victim can feed off of that energy. But to be honest with you, you can always stand up for yourself and say, this is not okay, and find the ways to get yourself out of a bad situation. And so what I'm getting for this is, like, don't compromise your integrity. Don't compromise your love. Don't compromise your light for someone else to figure it out arbitrarily. You're never going to change them. They can only change themselves. And if it's not working for you, you have to be extremely honest with yourself and allow yourself to have enough self-worth to get yourself into a place that feels right for you, that's aligned with your soul. Because to be honest with you, the victimhood is not aligned with your soul. It's not. It's not. Abuse isn't aligned with your soul because God doesn't want you to suffer in that way. He wants you to empower through it and really love yourself enough to say no to that behavior. So that's what I'm getting. I also have the tribe card in reverse. I just put it back in, but I had the tribe card in reverse saying, don't compromise yourself in a tribe to fit in either. So this might not just be in relationship to one other person. You might be compromising yourself with a group of friends, and you're no longer that type. You're no longer resonating with them, and you might have to let that go too, as I'm getting, because I'm getting the we are the world. I think a community isn't serving you either. So those are the two things. Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there, but it's only because I have a lot of fervent energy here. It's like a fervent prayer for you, like a passionate prayer that you guys get yourself out of bad situations that aren't serving you, especially, and they keep showing me this abuse, especially if you're in an abusive situation. So if you're listening to this and you're in an abusive situation, I understand. I've been there. Get help. Get out. Get out. I'm really getting it in abuse. So it went really, I'm like, whoa. They showed me that. I was like, okay, yeah. It's time.
And that takes us right back to Jupiter. Jupiter and Scorpio, empowerment. This is part of the empowerment, is getting help, getting out. You're not weak to do that. That is empowered. It is empowered to take care of yourself. So it all fits. It all works. Well, this was lovely. Fun to do GPS with you again, Nikki. Hopefully we will be back next week. You can check out Gaia Blooming for daily videos. Nikki, don't you have a special right now with the Golden Collective?
Yeah, I'm doing, so if you guys didn't know, what I have created in the last 2 months was a community. It's actually a school, really, with an optional community if you feel called to be a part of the Facebook group, this private Facebook group. But really what the Golden Collective is a place for you to find daily tools to help empower yourself and for you to connect to your own inner guidance system, to connect to your own light and your own navigational system so you can start navigating your life and not give your power away, and really begin to listen to the way God speaks to you and develop those muscles so you can always feel like you've got power. And so that's the Golden Collective. I can put a link somewhere if you want. Right now I'm doing 2 weeks for free trial. Then you could cancel whenever if you wanted to, if you didn't feel like that was that it resonated with you. But it's really amazing. I did a Meet Your Guides meditation last week, and the group, they are just popping, like they are finding their guides and things are just opening, like channels just, it's been really cool to watch. So if you're interested in something like that, I'll put a link, and you can either put your name on the newsletter list, or you could sign up for a 2-week free trial.
Awesome. Back out a little bit crazy with the internet. It was in and out for some of that. So just be sure to post a link, Nikki, and I'll make sure it's in the thing. Internet. So thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Namaste.
Namaste.